Crazy card, man. One of 15 in the world.
This week, I'm jealous because Joe is in Japan. He'll take you on a 9-day trip, scoring as many high-end Pokemon cards as he can for us to put in our Whatnot streams.
Hey guys, Akihabara day 2. Big purchase lined up yesterday. Definitely the biggest card I've ever bought, single card at least. And only one shop for it in Akihabara. Here we are, Rarity 2. So, only 15 of these cards in the world, and I'll show you it after the deal's done. So yeah, managed to agree a slight discount on the card. So just going now to have a look. Biggest pickup to date. Chansey Snap secured. One of 15 in the world. Deal has been done. We now have a Pop 15 Snap Chansey in our possession, casually walking around Akihabara. Yeah, we got invited downstairs, which is the first time that's happened in Nagoya. Met the owner and spoke to him about the price. Managed to get about 10% discount, which is pretty reasonable. Still an extortionately expensive card, but for what it is, I think we got a good deal.
The Pokemon Snap contest was held in May of 1999. It was initially a marketing campaign to promote the release of Pokemon Snap on the N64. Players were encouraged to take photos of Pokemon in-game, with the winners' photos being printed as actual Pokemon TCG cards. In the end, very few of the Pokemon Snap cards were actually printed, making them some of the rarest Pokemon cards in existence. A Mint 9 CGC Snap Chansey sold at auction in February of 2024 for $47,500, with a Gem Mint 10 CGC Snap Gyarados selling at a Chinese auction a few months later for $87,000. It's safe to say that after 12 months since those auctions took place, the Pokemon Snap card prices are on the rise. Talking of the Snap Chansey, I haven't actually seen it in the building, so I'm going to go ask Joe where it is. Joe, what happened to the Snap Chansey? Where is it?
It lasted about 24 hours. So as you can probably imagine, Snap Chansey is not our usual card type to pick up in Japan. But I knew it was there when we came out, and our good German friend out there is an avid Chansey fan. So previously, I've seen one of his PC binders, and it was stacked, but all not for sale, strictly off limits. So I proposed a potential deal, because obviously didn't want to outlay the cash for the Snap Chansey, right? So who would? We talked about a potential trade. So I would outlay and buy the Chansey in exchange for basically his PC binder. So on the first day when I got there, we went to their office and we talked about the binder just to see if it would remotely kind of equate to the Snap Chansey. So we got to a decent amount, enough to make us confident that it was possible. We got loads of gold stars, loads of shinings, crystals, Pikachu promos, ponchos, stuff you just can't really pick up in Japan anymore. So even though it was a like for like trade essentially, we got stock that we wouldn't normally be able to get in the shops, or not easily at least, and we got it all in one place in 2 days. So those first 2 days in Tokyo did basically 0 shops, but that deal, if you look at what we picked up in those 2 days, it was way better than what we would have got in the shops by a long way. So yeah, that was why we did the Chansey deal. Happy to help a friend out, and gave us the good stock that we're much more confident in selling than a Snap Chansey. Made it to Osu in Nagoya, just been to Suragaya, so I just thought I'd show you around. This shop has plenty of the new modern set, or they did. Pretty reasonable prices, but what was most interesting was quite a wide selection of vintage cards, but it's quite a difficult store because it arranges it by energy colour rather than by like vintage or even by era, so it makes it quite tricky, especially when you get to the bits here when modern and vintage is next to each other. But what they explained was the labels like this have no damage, and then the labels with the label over the top does have damage. The attempt here was to buy some mint PSA 910 quality cards for Max and Mounty's stream with the new stream of mint only singles. So we went through basically the ones that didn't have the yellow sticker on, things like this, but it turned out there wasn't a huge amount of sense to the ones that were supposedly mint versus the ones that aren't mint. So we checked quite a lot, pulled maybe 100 cards, ended up with 2. This Polito looks very clean. This Umbreon just was a good price, and then managed to find 2 vintage packs. The first one I've had before, but this one, never seen this one before, Arceus. So I'll have to look that up, but £100, couldn't say no to a vintage pack. Quite high prices, to be honest, for the old backs, but if you fish around and find some minty gradable cards, then why not? Suragaya finished on our way to 193 just down the road. Quite friendly with the regional manager in Nagoya who runs the 193 stores. I think there's 3 or 4. So hopefully some back stock, hopefully some nice bits in their albums and in the showcases. Finished up the 2 hours later. We did very, very well. New stock came in this morning, great timing. The clean showcase of old backs. Not the cheapest old backs, but we don't find this kind of condition old back in Japan anymore. Very, very happy to pay the premium for PSA quality old backs. So yeah, we're just checking out now. A really interesting chat with the owner. He was talking and explaining the buy prices. He was explaining for some of these cards. So that Magaini 1500, he said they would have paid somewhere in the region of 900 to 1,000 yen because it's slightly lower end, whereas a more expensive card like, let's say, this Dark Venusaur, which was near mint PSA 9 probably, but there wasn't much room. A card like this he probably has to pay slightly higher, probably pay 15 to 16,000. So actually they operate on quite small margins. He said vintage stock sits longer because the locals don't buy it as much. They typically sell to tourists on this kind of stock. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting when he was talking about the rates they pay. So probably 70 to 80% is pretty standard here in Japan for vintage cars like this if they want to be competitive. He was also talking about the competition between the stores in Osu. So Toraka Camp is a major price setting shop here, similar to Card Rush for modern, but he was explaining there's a Neo 4-pack here, so they were paying 100,000 yen, which is like £550, which is pretty much market. But because Toraka Camp put a post out to pay 130k, they now match the 130k to be able to buy products. So much of the price driven off like specific stores, and in Osu that is Toraka Camp.
How did the shop buyout come about? Because that's pretty specific that you go to Japan and then buy out a whole store. So how did that come around?
Yeah, it's not a normal activity. I mean, normally running around the shops and all that. But one of our good friends from Japan, who's been supplying boxes to us for years, he knows our business in singles. He teed us up with this guy who basically has a chain store of shops of which they buy a lot of vintage, but they don't sell it. So therefore came the opportunity to talk to him and buy the stock that he doesn't sell in his store. So we went to Osaka, which was somewhere in middle ground. They were quite a long way south, but met in Osaka, went and hired a room in a above a Pokemon shop, and yeah, we just started getting cracking. But on the first day, they were pricing it, then giving it to me. I would say the price is fine, or negotiate if I didn't think the price was fine, or if it just wasn't suitable, we'd park it. So it was quite a slow process, and I think we started around 1 o'clock, finished around 7 because they had to get back 3 hours down south. So I think we'd only done like a quarter of it maybe, and not all the high-end stuff at that point. So at the end of that day, they proposed that we came down to their store the following day to conclude the deal. So they had 3/4 of the stock left that they brought, and they said they still had quite a lot of other stock like tag teams and bits that they brought in. It was a worthwhile activity, and we kind of, on balance, we could have run around the shops in Osaka, which we didn't end up doing, but it was worth it for the relationship and getting the potential stock volume in one day that we managed to do. On an adventure today, we've just stopped in Hiroshima to check out some of the shops before we go on to meet one of the chain store owners down in Fukuoka. It's about a 3.5 hour trip. We're about an hour early, so just decided to pit stop in Hiroshima. Had really good luck in the C-Labo, cheap modern, yellow sticker, but nothing wrong with them. Hobby Station was a total miss, and we're just running to Girafall now, and then we'll take a taxi back to the station. They got some plushies in the Hiroshima Pokemon Center, red Gyarados exclusives. Pick some of those up and then head to the meeting, which is in an hour and a half, so we're going to be a bit late. Yeah, I'll report back when we get to Fukuoka. So we've missed the train back to Osaka, so now we're staying over in Fukuoka, getting a hotel here, and we'll check the shops tomorrow whilst we're here anyway, so a bit of a change of plan. But yeah, can't get back to Osaka tonight, so we're going to sleep here. Really good meeting with the shop owners. They had a lot of old stock, old being like X and Y, and then earlier that they'd, I'm guessing, bought over the years and just never sold anything. So their shop had 0 card walls in it, so they don't sell singles in their shop. So they said it's just built up, and that was 5 years of stock, so good to buy that. We were pricing it together on like a pricing mat, got some really good prices, more mid-era stuff I guess, but yeah, really good experience. Good to be in Fukuoka even if it's unplanned, so we'll see how the shops are tomorrow. After 2 days of direct deals, finally got running around the shops again, missed it. Nice sunshine in Fukuoka, and found a random shop, normally only sells magic, but today upon a couple of beauties. So their shop's called Nem in Fukuoka if you ever make it this far down. Always worth checking all the shops out. So after missing the train back to Osaka, we hit the shops in Fukuoka today in Hakata. And we found 4 gold stars, Pikachu, Zekrom, Alt Art Tag Team, Charizard Reshiram, Crystal Lugia, and the modern was half price compared to Tokyo, so yeah, a blessing in disguise. Just stopped off in a unknown city on the way back to Osaka just to hit a C-Labo, which tends to be quite good for modern. and a suragaya. So I'll show you the pickups when we get back. Oh, and by the way, there's about 25 grand of Pokemon cards in a locker at the station if anyone can find out where I am. We're back in Akihabara. Managed to pick up the new Generation 7 plushies from Pokemon Center with 3 big bags, and we're off to hit the shop to see what we can find. Right, I've been well and truly beaten. I think the last few days have caught up with me. Time to go and check in. It's about 6 o'clock. Done a bit of a whip round in Akihabara, but to be honest, there's no new stock in the shops that we'd visited last time, and the new shops have been total duds. And I'm feeling the effects of the last few days of travelling, I think. So, just going to go and check in now, unpack the bags because we've come from Osaka this morning, and then I'm going to go to our friends who just need to finish up the trade deal for the Snap Chansey that happened at the start of the trip. So just go through some stock, pick some bits up because they've always got good cards. So yeah, when Akihabara's dead, we go to our good friends to find cards instead. Having come back from being down south, it's pretty clear that Akihabara on modern prices is about 30-35% up. For example, like a Houndoom AR is pretty standard at 1,000 yen here, but you were finding it at 700 quite easily, and on sale even lower when you were further south, Osaka. I'd still say Akihabara is the place for vintage. If you know the right spots, places like Otachu are really good for vintage, and there's just no quantity when you move further south of anything particularly old. You might get some mid-era stuff. Nagoya is pretty good for mid-era, but yeah, old back Akihabara, there's nowhere else really where you can get a decent quantity. We hit the storage bins in Otachu today. There's quite a few good shops for storage bins still. You don't really find the gems that you used to find in them, but 30, 50 yen, sometimes 20 yen, you can pick up some pretty cool stuff, so they're definitely worth checking out. It just takes forever, and today I will admit I do not have the energy for it, so yeah, we're gonna call it a day and do some direct deals with our friends in Akihabara. So catch you soon. Okay, 350, 400k flip. What are you calling?
We are calling the flowers.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Wins.
Mamma mia! Thank you, Galaxy.
Thank you, Galaxy. You're the best.
Big losses. Let's go.
So from what I've already edited together to your like average viewer, it kind of just looks like you had a really nice time in Japan.
Yeah.
But there's a real daily grind that's actually happening like on a day-to-day basis, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean it's good fun, right? You're in Japan. Not gonna say no to 9 days in Japan ever, but yeah, it's not, I guess, how you would necessarily imagine it, or at least the way we try to do it. Most days we're kind of getting up at like 8 o'clock in the morning. If we're not traveling cities, we'd probably get in the shops for 10 a.m. after logging cards in the morning. 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the shops, and then logging, making sure all the prices are on the sleeves, because where you do negotiations and deals, obviously stuff doesn't have prices on, so you need to put that on before you forget. So yeah, it's definitely not a luxury holiday. When we travel cities, we're up at 6 in the morning to make sure we're in the city, in the hotel, and checked out by 10, because the shops open at 10 or 12 depending on the day and the city. But yeah, making sure we're always there for shop openings and basically there till shop closings, eating lunch out of a supermarket, dinners, sometimes supermarket if we're lucky. Yeah, we definitely have fun, but it's not quite as you might have pictured from the videos.
We featured like loads of high-end cards that you picked up like heavily throughout the video. But as we know from like previous videos, we sell 10,000 cards a week on Whatnot across 4 of our streamers.
Yeah.
How many low-end cards did you actually bring back?
Probably less than normal, to be honest, because there was more of a focus this time on high-end and trying to focus on mint stuff, which took ages. I still think we probably got in and around 20,000 single cards under the 1,000 yen price bracket. Definitely feel like there's kind of a shift in the market for people not wanting like ultra low end, so we kind of stayed away from that. But yeah, still good volume. Maybe the next trip will be slightly different, but 20,000 give or take.
So there you have it. 9 days in Japan condensed into what, 20-something minutes? Every card you saw in this video is going to be available across our Whatnot streams. So make sure you get in the description, give one of those links a click. It'll take you straight through to our streams and some of our channels. Give the video a like, make sure you're subscribed, and please get in the comments and tell us exactly what you'd want to see the next time we go to Japan, which might not be too far away. We'll see you again next week. Love you, hugs and kisses, goodbye. Love you, goodbye, goodbye.